Sikorsky UH-60 Blackhawk, the versatile, multi-mission workhorse for the U.S. Army and operators worldwide. Graunau Baby 2B, a legendary 1930s German sailplane that helped pioneer glider pilot training across the globe. Yakolev Yak-12, a rugged Soviet STOL aircraft used extensively for transport, ambulance, and agricultural duties. Piper PA-34 Seneca, a popular twin-engine aircraft widely used for multi-engine training and light commercial transport. Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-23, a high-speed, swing-wing Soviet interceptor and the first to feature look-down, shoot-down radar. Cessna 170, a classic four-seat tail-dragger that paved the way for the legendary Cessna 172. McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II, a legendary supersonic interceptor and the dominant multi-role fighter of the Cold War era. Royal Aircraft Factory SE-5, one of the fastest and most influential British fighter scouts of the First World War. Ilyushin Il-4, the Soviet Union's primary long-range bomber and torpedo plane throughout the Second World War. Stinson 108, a popular post-war light aircraft known for its stylish wood-grain interior and excellent short-field performance. Martin B-26 Marauder, a high-speed World War II medium bomber that achieved the lowest combat loss rate of any U.S. aircraft. Bristol F-2 Fighter, a formidable two-seat biplane that successfully combined the agility of a scout with the punch of a rear gunner. Cessna AT-17 Bobcat, a vital multi-engine trainer famously known as the Bamboo Bomber during World War II. Mi-2, a versatile Soviet light helicopter and the only MiL design produced exclusively in Poland. Sopwith Camel, a legendary World War I biplane fighter, famous for its unmatched agility and twin synchronized machine guns. Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-19, the Soviet Union's first mass-produced supersonic fighter and a formidable, agile interceptor of the mid-50s. Bell 47, the world's first commercially certified helicopter, and an iconic lifesaver, famously featured in the TV show MASH. Echo Aircoupe, a unique, spin-safe light aircraft designed without rudder pedals to be the easiest plane to fly. Antonov A-1, a series of single-seat primary trainers that helped launch the Soviet Union's massive glider pilot program. Cessna 310, a fast, sleek twin-engine icon that defined the modern executive aircraft with its distinctive wingtip fuel tanks. Lavochkin La-7, one of the finest Soviet fighters of the war, known for its incredible speed and agility at low altitudes. Yokosuka K-5Y, Japan's red dragonfly trainer, iconic for its bright orange finish and stable handling. Nakajima Ki-43, an ultra-agile Japanese fighter known as Oscar, famous for outmaneuvering nearly every Allied opponent it faced. Bristol Beaufighter, a heavily armed mighty bow that excelled as a night fighter and anti-shipping strike aircraft. Douglas SBD Dauntless, the slow but deadly dive bomber that turned the tide of the Pacific War at the Battle of Midway. Sopwith 1.5 Strutter, a versatile WW-1 pioneer, named for its unique W strut design and the first British plane with a synchronized gun. Junkers Ju-87 Stuka, a terrifying dive bomber known for its Jericho trumpet sirens and pinpoint accuracy. Messerschmitt Bf-110, a twin-engine destroyer that struggled as a dayfighter but became a lethal radar-equipped night interceptor. Halifax, a heavy-hitting workhorse, famous for its versatility and for carrying the brunt of night bombing missions over Europe. Cessna 180, a legendary tail-dragger nicknamed the Skywagon, prized by bush pilots for its rugged utility and short-field performance. Ilyushin Il-10, a refined, high-speed beast that perfected the flying tank concept for the Cold War era. Lag-3, a rugged wooden fighter grimly nicknamed the Varnished Guaranteed Coffin due to its heavy weight and sluggish performance. Airco DH-4, a high-speed WW-1 day bomber, nicknamed the Flaming Coffin, due to the dangerous fuel tank placement between its crew. Yakolev Yak-7, a rugged fighter born from a trainer, praised by pilots for outperforming the Yak-1 in speed and agility.
Lockheed T-33 Shooting Star, America's first jet trainer, nicknamed the T-Bird, which prepared generations of pilots for the jet age.
Yakolev Yak-18, a rugged Soviet primary trainer and aerobatic champion that taught thousands of pilots, including Yuri Gagarin, how to fly.
Ilyushin Il-28, the Soviet Union's first mass-produced jet bomber, known as the Beagle and feared for its high speed and tail guns. Tupolev SB, a record-breaking high-speed bomber that once outpaced fighters but became a vulnerable pterodactyl by World War II.
Polikarpov I-15, a nimble gull-wing biplane nicknamed Chaika, famous for its agility in the Spanish Civil War.
Curtiss JN-4, an iconic trainer nicknamed Jenny that taught 95% of WWI pilots how to fly.
Robinson R-44, the world's top-selling light helicopter, nicknamed the Bubble for its incredible visibility and simple design. Piper PA-23, a rugged light twin nicknamed the Apache, known as the plane that launched Piper's multi-engine success.
Polikarpov R-5, a legendary 1930s biplane nicknamed Rasante, famous for its role in the Spanish Civil War and Arctic rescues.
Eurocopter AS-350, a high-altitude legend nicknamed the A-Star, famous for being the only helicopter to land on the summit of Mount Everest. Beechcraft Baron, a high-performance light twin nicknamed the businessman's Beechcraft for its legendary speed and corporate luxury. Tiger Moth, a legendary British biplane nicknamed Tigerschmidt, famous for training nearly every RAF pilot of World War II. Curtiss Helldiver, a massive dive bomber, nicknamed the Beast and SOB second class due to its difficult handling and massive tail.
Yakovlev UT-2, a nimble Soviet trainer nicknamed Yat and the Broomstick, known for training the Red Air Force's WW-2 aces.
Heinkel HE-111, a distinctive glass-nose bomber nicknamed the Spade, serving as the Luftwaffe's primary heavy hitter during the Blitz. Bell 206, an iconic turbine helicopter nicknamed the Jet Ranger, famous for being the world's most recognizable news and utility bird. Avro Lancaster, a heavy bomber nicknamed the Lank, famous for the Dambusters raids and its massive Grand Slam bombs. Douglas A-20, a fast attack bomber nicknamed the Boston, famous for its pilot's airplane handling and lethal low-level strikes. F-84 Thunderjet, a rugged fighter nicknamed the Iron Speed Bump, famous for its long takeoff rolls and heavy ground attack punch. Cessna 140, a classic post-war tail-dragger nicknamed the family car of the air, famous for its legendary reliability. Cessna 120, a basic post-war tail-dragger nicknamed the bare-bones Cessna, famous for its no-flap simplicity and pure flying fun. Fairchild PT-19, a primary trainer nicknamed the Cradle of Heroes, famous for teaching thousands of World War II pilots to fly. Cirrus SR-22, a modern composite icon nicknamed the Chute Plane, famous for its built-in parachute and high-tech luxury. Havilland Mosquito, a wooden multi-role masterpiece nicknamed the Wooden Wonder, famous for its blazing speed and precision Gestapo raids. Breguet 14, a metal-framed biplane nicknamed Louis XIV, famous for its rugged durability and pioneering the first international airmail. Piper PA-32, a heavy-hauling favorite nicknamed the Cherokee 6, famous for its flying station wagon capacity and huge cabin. Grumman F-4F Wildcat, a tough naval fighter nicknamed the Martlet, famous for holding the line against the Zero. La Mouette Atlas, a legendary hang glider nicknamed the Folding Umbrella, famous for its no-fail safety and over 8,000 built. SPAD X-13,
A rugged World War I biplane nicknamed the Flying Machine Gun, famous for its high-speed dives and carrying the world's top aces. Cessna 206, a rugged heavy lifter nicknamed the Flying Pickup Truck, famous for its massive cargo doors and load-hauling power. Boeing Stearman Model 75, a classic biplane trainer nicknamed the Yellow Peril, famous for training nearly every American WW2 pilot. Yakolev Yak-1, a sleek Soviet fighter nicknamed the Krasavets, famous for being the White Lily, Lydia Litviak's deadly agile mount. Airspeed Oxford, a twin-engine trainer nicknamed the Oxbox, famous for preparing thousands of Allied crews for the heavy bombers. Beechcraft Model 18, a twin-engine classic nicknamed the Twin Beech, famous for its Art Deco style and 32-year production run. Cessna 210, a high-performance flyer nicknamed the Centurion, famous for its retractable gear and sleek, strutless cantilever wing. Bell P-39 Airacobra, a mid-engine fighter nicknamed Kobrushka, famous for its huge nose cannon and Soviet ace-making success. TBF Avenger, a massive torpedo bomber, nicknamed the Turkey, famous for sinking super battleships and being piloted by George H.W. Bush. North American F.J. Fury, a navalized saber nicknamed the Sea Saber, famous for being the U.S. Navy's first operational carrier jet. North American F-86 Sabre, a swept-wing legend nicknamed the MiG Killer, famous for dominating the skies over MiG Alley in Korea. Lavochkin La-5, a wooden Soviet fighter nicknamed the Savior, famous for outclimbing the Messerschmitt and turning the tide at Stalingrad. B-25 Mitchell, a versatile medium bomber nicknamed Billy's Bomber, famous for the daring Doolittle raid over Tokyo. SG-38, a skeletal training glider nicknamed the Skull Splitter, famous for teaching an entire generation of pilots to fly. Aranka Champion, a classic light plane nicknamed the Air Knocker, famous for its front seat solo and outflying the rival Piper Cub. P-38 Lightning, a twin-boom powerhouse nicknamed the Fork-Tail Devil, famous for its concentrated nose guns and the Yamamoto Isoroku mission. Super Cub, a STOL powerhouse nicknamed the King of the Bush, famous for landing on riverbeds and mountain ridges. I-16, a stubby Soviet pioneer nicknamed the Rata, famous for being the world's first cantilever-winged fighter with retractable gear. MiG-17, a refined Soviet jet nicknamed the Fresco, famous for its high subsonic agility and becoming the Phantom Killer over Vietnam. Piper Pacer, a short-wing classic nicknamed the Flying Milkstool, famous for its rugged speed and challenging tailwheel handling. A6M0, a legendary carrier fighter nicknamed Zeke, famous for its mystical agility and long-range dominance early in the war. Mooney M20, a sleek traveler nicknamed the Texas Bullet, famous for its forward swept tail and incredible fuel efficiency. Avro Anson, a twin-engine workhorse nicknamed Faithful Annie, famous for its flying greenhouse cockpit and 144-turn manual landing gear. Avro 504, a versatile biplane nicknamed the Ancient Avro, famous for being the most produced aircraft of World War I. Petyakov P-2, a fast Soviet dive bomber nicknamed the Pawn, famous for its incredible speed and its role as a heavy fighter. Vickers Wellington, a rugged bomber famous for its geodetic basket weave frame that survived hits that downed other planes. BT-13, a rugged basic trainer, nicknamed the Volti Vibrator, famous for its violent stall shutters and window-rattling engine. F-6F Hellcat, a rugged naval legend, nicknamed the Ace Maker, famous for its 19-to-1 kill ratio against the Japanese Zero. Boeing 737, a short-haul icon nicknamed the Fluff, famous for being the best-selling jetliner in aviation history. Airbus A320, a high-tech pioneer nicknamed the Nintendo Jet, famous for introducing fly-by-wire and sight-stick controls to airliners.
F4U Corsair, a bent-wing icon nicknamed Whistling Death, famous for its 11-to-1 kill ratio and distinct wing root howl. Boeing B-17, a heavy-hitting legend, nicknamed the Flying Fortress, famous for surviving shredded tails and bringing crews home. Chodia Weedhopper, a minimalist ultralight famous for its $2,000 kit price and simple 2-axis controls. P-40 Warhawk, a rugged brawler famous for its iconic shark-mouth nose art and Flying Tigers legend.
Waco CG-4, a canvas glider famous for carrying troops into Normandy and its silent wood and fabric design.
MiG-21, a supersonic icon famous for its rugged delta wing and status as history's most produced combat jet.
Hawker Hurricane, a rugged workhorse famous for winning the Battle of Britain and its tough fabric-on-wood fuselage. Junkers J-88, a versatile legend famous for its speed and adapting to every role, from dive bomber to night fighter. T-6 Texan, a legendary trainer famous for its pilot maker nickname and the distinct roar of its radial engine. P-51 Mustang, a long-range hero famous for its laminar flow wing and the Merlin engine that won the air war. P-47 Thunderbolt, a massive powerhouse famous for its incredible durability, 8 machine guns, and unmatched survivability in a dive.
A UH-1 Iroquois, a Vietnam icon famous for its distinct thump and for transforming the battlefield with air mobility.
Douglas DC-3, a revolution in flight, famous for its incredible durability and for making commercial air travel a reality. Yak-9, a nimble Soviet fighter famous for its lightweight design and for outperforming the Luftwaffe at low altitudes. Mi-17, a global workhorse famous for its extreme reliability and for being the most produced transport helicopter in history. Mi-8, a Soviet masterpiece famous for its massive internal volume and being the foundation of modern helicopter transport. MiG-15, a Korean War legend famous for its swept-wing design and powerful cannons that shocked Western pilots.
Antonov An-3, famous for modernizing the classic AN-2 with a powerful turbine engine and massive short-field lifting capability.
Antonov An-2, a biplane legend famous for its incredible STOL performance and for being the largest single-engine biplane ever built. B-24 Liberator, a high-speed heavy bomber famous for its long range, twin rudders, and the efficient high-aspect ratio Davis wing. Beechcraft Bonanza, a general aviation icon famous for its unique butterfly tail and for being in continuous production since 1947.
Polikarpov Po-2, a stealthy biplane famous for its wooden frame and the legendary night witches who used it to terrorize invaders.
FW-190, a deadly fighter famous for its heavy firepower, wide-track landing gear, and superior roll rate. Piper J-3 Cub, a trainer icon famous for its signature yellow paint and for teaching a generation of pilots to fly.
The Seafire, a naval icon famous for its Spitfire DNA and for being the Royal Navy's premier carrier-based interceptor.
The Spitfire, a British legend famous for its beautiful elliptical wings and for defending the skies during the Battle of Britain. The Cessna 182, a cross-country icon famous for its rugged airframe and for being one of the world's most popular personal aircraft.
The Cessna 152, a flight school staple famous for its rugged simplicity and for training more pilots than almost any other aircraft.
The Cessna 150, a training legend famous for its tight cabin and for being the foundation of modern general aviation instruction.
The Piper PA-28, a trainer icon famous for its low-wing design and for providing a stable, forgiving platform for generations of pilots.
The Bf-109, a German legend famous for its fuel-injected engine and for being the most produced fighter aircraft in history. The Ilyushin Il-2, a flying tank famous for its impenetrable armored tub and for being the most produced military aircraft in history. The Cessna 172, a global icon famous for its incredible safety record and for being the most produced aircraft in aviation history.